You exist in a world where conversations are not merely exchanges of data, they are battles for dominance. Most people fumble through these interactions, hoping their words will somehow land. But the truly influential, the silent masters of social dynamics, they don't hope. They engineer compliance. They use specific conversational algorithms designed to destabilize, control, and ultimately command the focus of every person present. Today, we are unveiling 5 forbidden conversation tactics, strategies so potent they should be handled with caution, that will instantly allow you to seize, structure, and control any room you enter. These are not about being louder. They are about being psychologically superior. Study these tactics, not just to use them, but to recognize when they are being deployed against you. Number 1. The immediacy anchor. Seizing the opening psychological ground control of a conversation is never granted, it is taken. And the moment of entry is the most vulnerable point for your rivals. The first tactic is the immediacy anchor. This technique demands that you refuse to participate in the typical, soft preamble of social interaction. You must immediately assert a topic of high relevance, high emotional impact, or profound intellectual weight. When you enter a group setting, do not waste energy on passive observation, small talk, or polite greetings. Those acts signal availability and passivity. Instead, you must immediately introduce a statement of decisive importance or pose a question that requires immediate collective focus and intellectual energy. For example, instead of asking, "How was everyone's weekend?" you inject a statement. "I was just reviewing the new policy rollout, and the ethical implications of Section 3 are far more dangerous than anyone is admitting right now." The psychological genius of the immediacy anchor is twofold. First, it bypasses the social scripting of small talk, forcing everyone else to immediately engage with your reality and your chosen topic. You have anchored the collective mind. Second, by introducing a complex or weighty topic, you instantly elevate your perceived status. You signal that your mental bandwidth is reserved for high stakes, important concepts, compelling others to follow your lead. The moment you introduce an undeniable urgency or complexity, you transition from a participant to the architect of the entire discussion structure. To control the room, you must control the first 3 seconds of the conversation. Number 2, the calculated pause, weaponizing silence and tension. Amateurs fear silence. Masters weaponize it. The second tactic is the calculated pause. This involves deliberately injecting prolonged strategic moments of silence, often exceeding the socially acceptable boundary, at the precise moment you have delivered your most potent statement or question. When you finish a powerful assertion, or when you pose a question that demands accountability or forces a decision, do not immediately fill the void. Deliver your line and then stop speaking completely. Let the air hang thick with the weight of your words. Maintain unwavering eye contact, and allow the social pressure to mount in the surrounding individuals. Psychologically, this silence operates as a pressure cooker. The human mind despises unresolved tension. The prolonged pause triggers acute anxiety in others, compelling them to break the silence. Crucially, whoever speaks first is typically the one who surrenders control. They will often reveal their hand, offer unnecessary concessions, or rush to fill the vacuum with weak explanations or nervous chatter. By refusing to speak, you force them into premature self-disclosure, validating the power of your previous statement. The calculated pause transforms you from a speaker into a demanding authority, forcing the entire room to bend to the uncomfortable tension you engineered. Number 3, the reframing lock, redefining reality for compliance. Conversational battles are often lost when you agree to fight on your opponent's terms. The third tactic, the reframing lock, is the power to instantly dismantle the opposing argument by fundamentally changing the definition of the conversation itself. You do not argue their point. You declare that their entire point is irrelevant because the true issue is something else entirely. If someone attempts to box you in with a difficult question, for instance, "Why is your proposal so expensive?" they have successfully framed the discussion as a debate about cost. If you defend the cost, you lose. Instead, you must lock the frame onto a new, more advantageous reality. Your counter-response: the cost is only relevant if we agree to fail. The real question is the cost of inaction and the catastrophic losses we face if we choose a cheaper solution that fails in 6 months. This is psychological judo. By shifting the frame from expense, a negative focus, to risk and loss, a higher stakes negative focus they must avoid, you force them to defend their own desire to accept failure. You make their initial frame, the focus on money, seem small-minded, short-sighted, and weak. The reframing lock ensures that the conversation proceeds only on the terms and definitions you establish, giving you complete command over the resulting conclusion. Number 4, the preemptive compliance loop. Eliminating exit strategy. Master manipulators understand that resistance is a natural response. The fourth tactic, the preemptive compliance loop, is designed to subtly dismantle resistance before it can even be verbalized. You guide the target into a loop of prior agreements, making their final refusal a moment of profound internal inconsistency. This strategy works by using 2 specific techniques in sequence. The universal agreement. Begin by establishing an undeniable, universal premise that everyone in the room must accept, often related to values or general goals. Example: we all agree that efficiency and meeting the quarterly deadline are the absolute top priorities, correct? Everyone nods. The irreversible bridge. You then immediately and rapidly link that agreed-upon universal value directly to the action you want them to take. Example: since efficiency is the priority, and since this new software is the only proven solution that eliminates 3 hours of manual entry per day, then delaying its implementation is fundamentally sabotaging our top priority. We need to sign this today. By forcing them to verbally consent to the universal value first, you create a powerful cognitive anchor. Their final refusal to take the action must now be seen as an active rejection of their own proclaimed priority. You have made their resistance psychologically untenable. The preemptive compliance loop eliminates their exit strategy, guiding them into agreement through the gravitational pull of their own stated commitments. Number 5, the indirect veto, asserting control through others. The final, most sophisticated tactic is the indirect veto. When faced with a dominant individual or a stubborn group, you avoid engaging in a direct, exhausting challenge to their authority. Instead, you assert your control over the interaction by leveraging the perspective of a third party, or even the implied perspective of the entire room. If a single person is filibustering or dominating the narrative, do not ask them to stop. That is a direct challenge they can easily resist. Instead, you look directly at someone else in the room and then state, "I appreciate your detailed point, but I'm sensing we need to pull the perspective back. I want to know specifically how this impacts your department." The indirect veto achieves 2 powerful objectives simultaneously. First, by addressing a silent third party, you reassign the attention and the authority away from the dominant person without ever having to directly challenge them. You have subtly executed a power transfer. Second, you demonstrate to the entire room that you are the one dictating who speaks and when they speak. You are the conductor of the conversation's flow. You have subtly asserted your command, positioning yourself as the highest authority in the room, capable of rebalancing the energy and prioritizing the collective interest over the individual ego. These 5 conversational algorithms are not for polite debate. They are tools for immediate, decisive control. By understanding the immediacy anchor, the calculated pause, the reframing lock, the preemptive compliance loop, and the indirect veto, you arm yourself with the psychological blueprints necessary to instantly structure and command any room, turning casual interactions into theaters of calculated influence.